Hello YouTube, this is LoungingLion, and today I would like to talk about one of my favorite characters to play in MapleStory, and that is ThunderBreaker. This is a link skills character, and that means it relies on link skills for its movement, its damage, and its buffs. Let's get into it. Alright, here we are with ThunderBreaker. I'm going to go through the basic skills really quick, which are Lightning Punch, Flash, Shark Sweep, and Tidal Crash. So Flash is the first one, Lightning Punch is the second one, Shark Sweep is third, and Tidal Crash is fourth. I like doing them in that order. And you can see here on my keybinds, I have it on S, A, Q, W in that order. So the first two, and then the second two in reverse. So it's kind of like this clockwise square motion. And then it will lead into these other ones over here. So that's the basic combo right there. We come back to our skills. We'll see our first buff is Lightning Elemental. I have my Lightning Elemental on F1. So let me activate that. Now we have Lightning Elemental on. So after doing just one round of the basic combos, I have 5 charges of Lightning Elemental right here. And it has this little cooldown timer. You don't really need to worry about that because you'll never really use it. And then our second kind of passive that we have is Sea Wave.
Don't get careless.
So Sea Wave just came out right there. You can get Sea Wave to pop out just by combining Flash and Tidal Crash. There, it popped out. When you use an electric and a water skill linked together, or as a combo, then Sea Charge will come out and roll around, and will also do more damage than if you just use, if you didn't use the water and electric attacks, you just use one at a time. Okay, we got to continue on with kind of the basic movement combo, movement skills. And that is Ascension, Thunder. These are the next two that kind of pair together. So we had Flash, Lightning Punch, Shark Sweep, Tidal Crash. Now we have Ascension, Thunder. And Ascension is your hop. It just hops up like so, setting you up for Thunder. So Thunder cannot be used on the ground. You'll see a little message down here. You are not high enough to use this skill. It just means you're not high enough on the map. It doesn't mean you're level or something. So right there is Thunder. I can just jump up if I want, and I can use Thunder. I can double jump, use Ascension. You get a little extra air. And then use Thunder. I can jump down from a ledge, use Thunder to land. That's how those are used. And then all together, it will be SAQW Ascension, which is the hop, and then Thunder. So Thunder is a finishing move. You cannot link it with any other skill. So it is kind of like the end of the combo. And so the next move that you do will be like the beginning of a new combo. I'll show you kind of why that's important in a second.
Don't get careless. Boom.
Okay.
Too slow. Don't get careless.
And that's just me going through the keys in this order. And at the very end, we have Gale. So we see our Lightning Elemental up here. I'm going to leave it on for right now. I'm just going to hit the Gale key So I'm going to hit this Gale key, which for me is on T. And you can see it uses it right there. And then there's a 20-second cooldown for Gale. After we use Gale, we get a buff up here, which is the Gale buff. I think what it does is when it's active, you get a 2% you get a 2% damage increase per lightning charge. Now you almost, once you get higher level, you'll almost always have 5 lightning charges, so if you have the Gale buff active, you'll get a 10% damage increase. So you always need to be using Gale about once every 60 seconds, because that's how long it takes for the buff to wear off. And just going through the basic skills like that will get you will easily get you 1 usage of Gale. Really, Gale, the main limiting factor with Gale is the cooldown factor. Let's move on to Annihilate and Thunderbolt. These are the next pair of kind of like active link skills that you'll have. Typhoon is just an upgrade of Gale, so nothing really changes. But when you have... Oh wait, I was already there. But when you have it on notification, you'll put Gale here, but actually what will show up is Typhoon down here in the corner. You just kind of have to remember that. And if you look at Typhoon and you look at Deep Rising, these two, they look kind of similar when they show up over here. So you'll just have to you will have to get used to that. Anyway, let's move on to Annihilate and Thunderbolt. So this is Annihilate right here. These are much stronger than your other basic attacks, as you can tell. So we can use Thunder Punch and Shark Sweep. I'm not really doing nearly the same damage. Then we use Annihilate and Thunderbolt. They're doing a lot more damage. And so if you want, you can actually substitute Annihilate in for Lightning Punch, and you can substitute Thunderbolt in for Shark Sweep if you want to. And the reason why we can't substitute Flash and Tidal Crash is because these are your necessary movement skills. And so I'll show you the difference between these right now. There's a very important difference between Flash and Tidal Crash. Both of them will move you forward. So Flash moves me forward, Tidal Crash moves me forward, Flash, Tidal Crash. But when I get close to the enemy and I use Flash, it will only take me as far as the enemy is located, so it warps me to the enemy that's in front of me. Whereas Tidal Crash will move me beyond the enemy. And so Tidal Crash does not target.
You're getting sloppy.
And Flash does. And this is very important for like a boss fight when you need to like get out of the way. So if I'm facing this way, it works. But if I'm facing this way, or there's some kind of target I'm facing, I'm like, oh, I need to get out of this spot. And I hit Flash, well, I'm still going to be in this spot no matter how many times I hit Flash. Okay, I need to use the other one. I need to use Tidal Crash. And then Tidal Crash, I can go anywhere immediately. Tidal Crash also cancels out any of your other skills. So you can see how long the skill takes. Thunderbolt. But if I use Thunderbolt and Tidal Crash together, I'm not stuck in one spot. I can instantly move, actually. So that's a very important distinction. Tidal Crash is kind of like your get out of jail free card with the movement. So you can see how much time it takes just to get one Annihilate out. But if I use that with Tidal Crash, you're gonna want to remember the difference between Flash and Tidal Crash. Actually, it's a basic and it's pretty important in my opinion. Okay. Those were our job 4 skills, and we also had the on-off buff, which I don't have running right now, and I'll turn it on right now. I have it on my F2. And now I have Arc Charger working in the background. And so you see those little electric things that hit in the background. I shouldn't do too big of moves, that way it's easier to see. Okay, right there, that little like electric explosion that happened, that's our Arc Charger working in the background, giving us just a little extra damage. Wow. Okay. So let's go through the basic combo again. And something I want you to think about is the hop Ascension. Because if you see, I combine all of those with Thunderbolt, I can actually hit way up here. So when I'm mobbing later, I'll kind of demonstrate this to you, but I can hit things that are in front of me and quite a bit above me, so I can kind of farm on 2 levels at once.
You're getting sloppy.
This can also work for Gale, where I can use Gale up above. This also works for Annihilate or Shark Torpedo, where I can use Shark Torpedo up above me. And these are all the kind of like what I call the combo finishers. They're kind of like things that are good to do at the end of the combo or to start up the next combo. So just like at the end, you kind of use this thing. And the combo finishers, for me at least, kind of feel like Thunder, Gale. But Gale is kind of interesting because you can use it to start the next combo. And I'll show you what I mean by that later. Shark Torpedo and Thunderbolt. And the last one, the last kind of combo finisher, as it were, is Lightning God Spear Strike. Do not confuse Lightning God Spear Strike with Lightning Spear Multistrike. Lightning God Spear Strike is a move you can just kind of drop on the map. And if you see up here, there will be a little Lightning God Spear Strike symbol up here. In the bottom right hand corner, there will be a number. When that number is 8 and the move is off cooldown, then you can drop this spear somewhere on the map and it will do pretty big damage to a single target or to a mob of targets. Okay, so we already charged up the Lightning God Spear Strike. Just going through the basic combo one time will give you 5 on this counter. So one thing to note is that the Lightning God Spear Strike counter is separate from the Lightning Elemental counter. So for Lightning Elemental, that's controlling your Gale and your Shark Torpedo, which is the black one that just went across. But Lightning God Spear Strike has its own counter. And there's a big difference between these two counters. That's why I'm bringing it up. The big difference between these two counters is I do not need to hit anything to charge up my Lightning Elementals. I can just do these moves out into no man's land, and I'm easily at 5. I can easily use Shark when I turn around.
Faster than lightning.
But if you notice, my Lightning God Spear Strike isn't charged at all. And that's because for Lightning God Spear Strike charges, I must actually hit an enemy with link skills. So alright, now we have 8 charges back up here. I can drop that move back down just like that. Another thing to note about Lightning God Spear Strike is that it is a vertical attack. Okay. So you notice how much vertical space it takes up? It will kind of attack in like this big rectangle pattern. So the reason why I'm telling you that, you right click this thing, you can actually turn it to automatic. So it will drop automatically when it's off cooldown, and you have 8 charges build up. So now it dropped on its own, so I didn't need to do anything. Typically, especially when mobbing, I like to keep it on manual. And the reason why I like keeping it on manual is because most of the time it drops automatically. It does not drop in what I would call an ideal location. Like, it might take out one enemy, half an enemy, like, because it comes out after you've charged it, right? And you charge it by using your combos. So after you've done a whole bunch of combos to an area, all those enemies are gone already anyway. And then the Lightning God Spear Strike will come out. And it doesn't really, like, half the time it doesn't even do anything. Now, if you're fighting a boss, then I think it's worth it. Like, if your enemy is just standing still, it's definitely worth it. And then we're going to come to the next kind of theory of my key layout, and that is Annihilate and Thunderbolt are over here. So I said you could switch them, put them over here if you wanted to, and you definitely can. Shark Torpedo over here as well. That's because technically you can sit here and just spam these two moves back and forth, sometimes dropping Shark Torpedo, and notice you're not moving anywhere, but technically that counts as a link skill. And because it counts as a link skill, that also means we can charge Lightning God Spear Strike at the same time. And if you have it on automatic, and you're just sitting there doing that to a boss or something, it will pop out automatically and it will auto-target. So when you're fighting a boss, maybe you want it on auto, but if you're mobbing, I would strongly suggest trying to get used to using it manually, because you'll, in my opinion, be way more effective that way. Okay, our next move we need to talk about is Deep Rising, the whale move. Everyone knows this move. Wow, that's so cool. So you can use that move for mobbing. It will take out a bunch of enemies on screen. But the main thing about that move is that you are invincible as long as the whale is up. And it comes back every 45 seconds. Its cooldown is very short. And so if you're doing boss fights or whatever, and you're being very active, you know, this character can get itself into a lot of trouble being very active. And you got in trouble, and if the whale move is back, or Deep Rising is back, you can just use it and be invincible like this. Wow, now I'm invincible. Alright. The next thing I want to talk about is the one that I said you can confuse for the other lightning spear move. And I need to call in a boss for this. Alright. Oh, here it is. Lightning Spear Multistrike. And so this is, I've seen people use this for farming. Actually, if you watch the demo on the MapleStory main page for ThunderBreaker, you'll see people farming with this move. And you definitely can do that. But in my opinion, the best use case for this move is boss delete. Boss delete button. And so I'll just use one right there. And so you see all these like different lightning strikes that pop out. But you can just hold the button down and it will do a pretty good chunk of damage. It also links with itself. So when it's linking with itself, you can also activate the Lightning God Spear Strike. All right, next I want to talk about the buffs that come with ThunderBreaker. And we have Glory of the Guardians, Primal Bolt, Speed Infusion, and Empress Cygnus Blessing. I think that's a basic one for him. And we also have Lightning Cascade. And we activate all these buffs. I think I want 5. And Lightning Cascade, and then use the boss delete button. it did, you know, significantly more damage. But you can tell that for ThunderBreaker to do maximum damage output, he actually needs to be just beating on them himself. Right? So your boss delete move will go so far, but he just needs to be actively doing big damage. Oh yeah, I turned my Thunder Lightning God Spear Strike onto auto just to show you why it's important to have it on auto when you're bossing. So it is nice that it just drops it automatically. So when you're mobbing, it's not so great. Okay, I want to talk about the buffs kind of individually though. I just wanted to show you what the boss delete button would do with all of them active. And the first one I talk about is Primal Bolt. So if you see here, we have Gale, but now Gale's on cooldown. So we use Gale, but if we use Primal Bolt, which is this buff right here, then we can essentially just spam Gale as much as we want. This isn't so great for bossing, but it's really great for farming. The other thing Primal Bolt does is it makes our Lightning God Spear Strike, Shark Torpedo, and Sea Wave all faster. It makes all of them faster. And then for Lightning Cascade, which is one of our other important buffs, it creates kind of like this. I'll just use it. It creates like these chain lightning things that are happening in the background. I don't know if you can see them. It's kind of hard. I'll show you another time. But you can see the main thing you need to be doing is just brawling with this character as it is a brawler. The other very important buff that comes with ThunderBreaker is Speed Infusion. So Speed Infusion, the one that comes with ThunderBreaker, is pretty good because it gives you an attack speed +2 and your teammates. So your teammates will also have their attack speed buffed +2, and this can be really good for other characters that are running with ThunderBreaker, especially if they have very fast attack patterns like archers. Archers, you know, getting that attack speed buff or speed attack buff is really, really good. All right, I'm gonna just demonstrate some of the things I talked about earlier with ThunderBreaker. There's actually one move I didn't talk about earlier at the training grounds, and that is Shark Torpedo. So in our 5th job skill, we'll see down here, there's Shark Torpedo. But the important thing about Shark Torpedo is that it is unaffected by attack reflection. So if someone is reflecting or doing something, you can still use this move, and it won't, you won't hurt yourself by using this move. Yeah, the other thing about this move is that its cooldown is every 8 seconds. And it also uses the lightning elemental charges. So as you charge up the lightning elemental stacks, there's certain moves that you can use, and one of them is Shark Torpedo, which is that guy right there. And every 8 seconds, you don't really need to get reminded by the cooldown thing. You can kind of just feel, like, you can kind of feel the 8 seconds. Okay, I wanted to show you the buffs, some of the buffs in action, like while you're mobbing. And the first buff that I want to show is Primal Bolt. This one right here. And this allows our Typhoon or Gale to be spammable. So we can just spam this thing as much as we want, as long as the buff is active. Which, you know, we still got 15 seconds. Another thing about Gale is that you can actually use it to kind of start the combo. I can hit Gale or Typhoon, whatever you want to call it. And I can move after I use the skill. All right. The second buff I want to talk about, or at least like demonstrate, is Lightning Cascade. So Lightning Cascade forms these chain lightnings that you can see spreading all around. And when there's a single target, it actually just does like one massive damaging move. I got locked. And so when we use the Multistrike, the Thunderspear Multistrike, Lightning Cascade, it feels like it just does so much more damage. And right there, that was a good example of why I like to keep my Thunder or Lightning God Spear Strike on manual. Because then I just dropped it right in between all these different levels, like right here. Now I was reaching all the way to the top. If I had been a little better with it, I would have been able to reach all 3 levels, which is really what you want. So another thing about ThunderBreaker is you don't need to jump that much. With ThunderBreaker, most of your movement should be driven using the movement skills Splash, Tidal Crash, Ascension, Thunder. Like these are the ways you really want to be getting around, because you're not just moving, you're also doing damage, and you're also buffing yourself by using these skills and linking them together. If you're running, for instance, with an archer or something of that nature, Okay, I think that was a good overview of ThunderBreaker. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments for me, and I'll try to get back to them. Okay, bye.